Okay. Says we're now streaming, so. But now over here, it doesn't seem we're streaming, so we're gonna give it a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, we are streaming. Hi, everyone. It's Lauren and Jamesha. Jamesha, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, so today I said, Jamesha, we have got to do a video of us watching this video. So there is a show put on by the Dallas Examiner called Monday Night Politics. And over the last few weeks, they've been interviewing different candidates for different positions. And if y'all follow Cadillac Law, you know that we support LaNasha House for Dallas Probate too.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we wanted to watch the segment of LaNasha and the incumbent on Monday Night Politics and just kind of make our own commentary based on our experience. And when I say our, I mean mainly Jamesha. I've already seen the video. I really want everyone to see her reaction to what is said on this filming. So let me share the screen and we are gonna go for it. Okay, so hopefully everyone out there, actually, I don't have to say hopefully, I can check.
Tonight, when we talk to our candidates here, we have with us the incumbent.
Oops, sorry, y'all. I accidentally hit fast forward. Okay, let me just make sure that it's working. Okay, here we go. So,
the functions of those courts. We'll do the same thing tonight when we talk to our candidates.
Misha, can you hear?
We have with us Judge
Okay.
Warren and the challenger, Ms. LaNasha House. Thank you both for being with us tonight. We'll give 2 minutes for opening statements. We'll start with you, Judge Warren.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. O'Neill, for the opportunity to present to you all today. Likewise, thank you to the Dallas Examiner and to the Belt family for their commitment.
Okay, first thing I have to say, Jamesha, I have to say this. When I see her, it gives me a little bit of PTSD.
Yeah.
It does. It's like I dig in for, you know, an abusive interaction. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I start to prepare for that.
And then you see this and it's like she's trying to be on her best behavior, almost kind of like coy or, you know, humbled when you walk in her courtroom and it's not that way at all.
Yes. Okay, here we go. So that's our first stop, folks. Here we go.
To educating the community. My name is Ingrid Michelle Warren, and I was born here in Dallas, Texas. Especially or particularly at Baylor Hospital. I graduated from Law Magnet High School, which is now Judge Barefoot Sanders High School.
BT Deb Boleyn, our wonderful Boleyn, also graduated from Law Magnet. So just FYI,
I left
everyone.
there and continued in public school, graduated from Texas A&M University. Thereafter, I attended the University of Texas.
Okay, okay.
Is that a ring I see on her finger?
I'm sorry?
Is that a ring I see on her finger?
No.
Hit it back. Go back.
I'm back. Okay, well, shoot, I went too early.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill, for the opportunity to present to you all today. Likewise, thank you to the Dallas Examiner and to the Belt family for their commitment to educating the community. My name is...
You see it?
That's on her right hand. I see it,
Oh.
but that's on her right hand, not her left.
I say, baby, you lying. Who you lying to?
Michelle Warren, and I was born here in Dallas, Texas. Especially or particularly at Baylor Hospital. I graduated from Law Magnet High School, which is now Judge Barefoot Sanders High School. I left there and continued in public school, graduated from Texas A&M University. Thereafter, I attended the University of Texas School of Law. I knew from the time that I went to high school that I wanted to be a judge, but I never thought I would have the opportunity. But with your help, 8 years ago, you elected me. And I thank you for that. And I'm asking for your support again today. I'm asking for your support again today because we've worked really hard in court.
Go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
We've worked really hard to make sure that we are a calming voice to families in grief. Probate court handles the affairs of the deceased. We deal with guardianships. We also deal with trust. As a matter of fact, I have a family right now who can't wait until this election is over so that I can
Sorry.
family.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's hold on. Now, stop.
Yeah,
Stop.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have to acknowledge the calming reference that she used as absolutely absurd to have come out of her mouth, because it is everything but calming when dealing with her in probate 2, period, in the story. And there's nothing calming about the process that you go through in probate court 2. So that is a blatant and almost baffling statement right off the bat as somebody who works for the people. Let's be clear, for the people, not the state, not their own interests or whatever you want to call it. For the people, it is everything but calming in her court. But go ahead, I digress.
Okay, that is not a digression. That is exactly why I wanted to do this with you, because let me just say, like, I deal with the court in that I go to court and I get bullied by the judge, right? Not all judges are bullied, but we're talking about this one right here. So you deal with the court in the sense of, like, I need to get something on the calendar. I need to actually do this. So you have an experience that is different than mine, but the same as mine, right?
Right.
So it's a different perspective. That's why we're doing this together. Here we go.
Resolved by mid-March. But until then, I am committed to this process. I'm committed to what it's all about. While on the bench, I've worked really hard in order to make sure that your cases are heard. Last year, we heard over, let me step back. I signed over 9,000 orders, more orders than any probate court in Dallas County.
I'm going to stop right there.
Ma'am,
Hold
you
on.
signed 2017 orders? You signed orders from 2017, 2018, because last year was 2022 and we still don't have orders from 2018.
That's correct. So this is the yearly judicial evaluation that the Dallas Bar Association does. Lawyers do like a survey about judges, and then the bar puts all that data together and then sends these out. This page is the 3 elected judges in Dallas. And I want to point straight to here. The second question is, does the judge issue opinions and orders without unnecessary delay? Okay. Margaret Jones Johnson, only 30% say she needs improvement. So 70% of the people are saying, yeah, there's no delay. Brenda Hull Thompson, 20% of the people are saying no, the delay. Ingrid Warren, 45% believe she needs improvement.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those 45. Okay. So there's that.
I am one of 19 statutory probate judges in the state of Texas. I've served in this role for 2 terms. I have been asked in this role to educate other judges on what it means to be a probate judge. I've been asked to talk to legislatures about legislation on this issue. And so I ask you for that opportunity again.
Thank you so much, Ms. House.
Look at her looking all cute and stuff.
I know.
And I'm a candidate running for probate court number 2.
Love it. I love those glasses too.
I have been practicing law for over 15 years. I'm a Howard University School of Law graduate. I'm also a TCU graduate. Wasn't born here in Dallas, but I like to say I got here as soon as I could. I was born in Marshall, Texas. My parents are Wiley College graduates, and so I was therefore raised in East Texas. And so I am a native Texan. I am running for this bench because...
Let me tell you something. Being a Texan does not matter in terms of being a judge. I don't care if you're if you're from,
you came from Timbuktu.
Exactly. If you can read and apply the law, then we're cool. Right. So, all right. Anyhow, I just like, it's nice to know where the candidates are from, but ultimately that should not be how you decide your vote, folks.
Absolutely.
When I worked at the probate courts, which is a little bit of my history, I noticed that there were some administrative and policies and procedures that needed to change. I respect Judge Warren. I respect her experience, and I respect that she does know the law. And so as we go through this tonight, I want you all to know that this race is not about her qualifications, nor about my qualifications to run for this bench. This race is about administrative processes and procedures and how we differ on how the courts should proceed moving forward.
And let me just say, that boils down to, it's about
efficiency.
Yes, and the constituents' dollar bill, right?
Absolutely.
Because the less efficient the court, the more work we have to do, the more it costs clients.
Absolutely.
And to give you a little bit of background of what I did for the courts, I served as the director of operations for the probate courts. And during that time period, I actually worked with all three judges. And I also oversaw the Dallas County Court investigator's office. That was pre-pandemic and during the pandemic. And during that role, what my job was to do is to make sure that indigent clients and individuals who had incapacities or were some kind of way, maybe injured through a traumatic brain injury or Alzheimer's, they had the help that they needed to make their medical decisions. And this was very important, as you can imagine, during COVID. That experience showed me that there are some administrative processes that need to change. And I'm here asking you all for the opportunity to evoke those changes and to be the agent of change that probate court number 2 needs.
Amen.
Ms. House, and you may have to correct me on this, but this may be a court that's really, really important to Black people. Dying intestate is something that we like to do, apparently. Right? So how will your candidacy, should you be elected, begin to, one, educate the public to what that court really serves, the purpose it really serves, and how will you alluded to administrative issues that you'd like to see changed in court? How will you make it smooth?
Okay. Thank you. And let me also kind of clarify what you're saying about dying intestate. So I'm a preacher's kid, grew up in the Baptist church. My dad is a CME preacher now. And one of the main issues that we have in our community is that a lot of people don't do estate planning. So what does that mean? That means when grandma passed away, the family continues to live in the home, but they don't have the title to the house. They might not even have insurance for the house. Or if brother or sister passes away, if there isn't a will, who gets to access the bank account to get the money to pay the bills? All of these things are important issues that individuals may not plan for until maybe it's too late. So ways that I would like to help our community is what I'm already doing right now. I have already, through OCBF, Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, I've already helped with will planning. I already donate my time and services and pro bono. A lot of times for indigent clients, offer estate planning. I don't let anyone leave my office with just a will. I make sure they have a durable power of attorney, a medical power of attorney, a HIPAA release form, and a will, because I want them to be able to take care of their family while they're alive and when they pass away. And I think that is the key component is education. We need to make sure that there are more minority attorneys, more new attorneys who understand what probate law is. And so that is one of the platforms that I'm running on. I am wanting to increase the amount of CLEs and the amount of education within our community for attorneys who may not know probate, so that they can go back out into the community and help and provide resources for those individuals who may not be able to afford a top tier law firm. And if we have more individuals that have that background and have that ability, then we'll have the ability for people to go back out and help those people that they know and love. And hopefully that will decrease the amount of people having to come into probate court confused, and hopefully that will increase the amount of estate planning that we in the community are already doing.
That's why I made this YouTube channel, Misha, the very one that we are live on right now. Is because it's just like nobody knows this stuff, you know, and they barely teach us how to address envelopes anymore. So it's not something that people even really should know, right? But it's something like you need to know. So
Yeah. Especially, you know, blended families, big families, you know, all over the place. Somebody somewhere has to go get grandma a will. Somebody somewhere has to make sure, you know, and even in our community, we always have that one aunt or one uncle that take charge of the family, you know, family, whether it be the bills or whatever. For us, it's my May. Like, she takes care of everything pertaining to, you know, the family land, the family house, whatever. And as time goes on, though, you know, she's preparing my Aunt Deborah, who's also preparing my cousin Faye, to make sure that somebody knows what's what. And we don't.
And who's
we're,
who?
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
well, your family has the advantage of having you, you know, to be able to like, hey guys, let's think about this.
Yeah, and it was a mess.
So I think Latasha's made some great points. Obviously, I'm biased, but
this has turned out great.
I mean, and I don't even think I'm biased. Like, I would genuinely give, you know, the incumbent a chance if I didn't, if I felt like, you know, this was a what and what race. This, you know, she does a good job, but there's little tweaking, but it's a lot. And it's my people, you know what I'm saying? So I have to, it is almost like my due diligence to just be honest. It's bad. And we're losing, where we've already had to fight tooth and nail for our generational wealth. To have even one of our own kind of playing with it like that is really wrong. It really does.
Yeah. Oh, just wait, my friend. It's going to continue.
Best one for tonight. Save the best one for last. This one resonates with our community. So walk us through how you're being returned to the bench.
Thank you for that. The reason why I'm a probate judge and the reason why I ran for this particular bench and not any other civil bench is because this is where I see the rubber meeting the road. When I think about African-American families and I think about the wealth gap, you see the wealth gap occurring more in African-American families. When I practiced law, I worked with a number of churches, well over 25, 30 or more. And that was so that I could spread the word and talk to people about how important it is in order to make sure that you plan. If you don't plan, the state has a plan for you, and it may not be your plan. And so when we talk about making sure that African-American families are able to capture the wealth that we already have, it is how can we transition assets quickly from one generation to the next? And that is why I ran for probate court, because
she said quickly.
It was comical.
This is a court where I can help families. This is a court where I can be a part of the process to minimize the delay. And one of the things that I've done since—
Hold on. Wait. So let's talk realistically. She doesn't really, okay. And it's bad because I really don't want Lanasha to get stuck in the place where, you know, the basic muniments or the probates with wills ends up with Lincoln anyway, right? So to me, but I'm talking about the ones who actually die intestate, because we can want to do that, and that's great. But if we're talking realistically right now, what needs to change right now? Intestate needs to change right now.
Yes.
Oh, really? Like, if for me, her platform can't be what she's going to do. Like, as far as what are you right now? How can you improve your current system?
Just wait.
That's what I want to hear.
Just wait. Just that is what you would want to hear. Or, I mean, honestly, like if I'm listening to an incumbent, I want to know what improvements you made so far and what improvements you're going to make in the future. I have not heard any of that yet, but just wait. Okay, let's.
I've been on this court is that I realized when I ran 8 years ago and you all were helpful in getting me elected, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. What I realized is that there needed to be a change in these courts, and I've been a part of that change. One of the things that we've done is the director of probate court operations, we were able to double the salary for that position so that we could get a qualified individual for that job. Not only that, we've expanded our staff by 75%. And also, we've been able to add an additional judge for each court so that we can hear more cases. That's how we were able to sign 9,000 orders and hear on average 50-something cases a week on a 52-week schedule.
52 weeks?
I'm not impressed. Not that. I don't want to hear about nobody's salary. I don't want to hear about you creating more jobs, because at the end of the day, with all the money that you're spending on this qualified person and all the extra staff, we should not be still having the problems that we have.
That part. Yes. Amen.
You kind of referenced it, and I want you to kind of expand on it. You said, if you don't have a plan, the state has one. What does that look like? When the state—
You have a plan. That part. If you don't have a plan, I got a plan. So you are the state. And so therein lies my problem. You're the state. And so if you don't have a plan, if I'm talking to my people and people of Dallas, period, if you don't have a plan, she has a plan for you on that bench, and your family's not gonna like the plan that gets put in front of them. But whatever, go ahead.
Whether or not you die as a married person or as a single person, and whether or not you have children. What it looks like, more importantly, is that it's not what you wanted. It's not what you planned. And that is why I encourage each of you listening to me today to make sure that you have a will. I know it's not something we like to think about, but it's something that's important for our families. Whether you are leaving money to your family members or whether you're leaving money to a financial to an organization, whether it's your church. My church is Concord. Concord will get something when I pass away, or whether it is the school that you graduated from. You have to plan in order to make sure it happens. And what I'd like to see happen with our community is that we do more of that, so that we capture our wealth and we pass it along from one generation to the next intentionally.
Very good. Thank you so much. Ms. House, would you like to take a stab at that? What's your experience been when we don't have a plan?
I actually agree with Judge Warren with this. A lot of times when individuals do not have a plan, Dallas County, the state, will create that plan for them. And what that means sometimes is that there could be a foreclosure on the home because individuals haven't had the opportunity to pay the taxes. Or someone passed away and Dallas County doesn't know about it. The family and relatives may be in another state. And then there's blight on the property, and the county will continue to charge those individuals for keeping up that property. And that's another reason that a property could end up being lost with regard to generational wealth. And so I do believe that one of the key components in making sure that we as a community understand the importance of estate planning is education. We have to get out there and inform people that even though this is a down ballot race, this impacts everyone in Dallas County. No matter how much we want to discuss it, everyone is going to pass away eventually. And none of us know what that day will be, only God knows. And so the best way, especially if COVID hasn't taught us anything at all whatsoever, we never know what tomorrow promises. We never know if your family member is going to be ill. And the best way to protect your family members, to protect your children, to ensure that your wealth is taken care of and will pass down for generations and generations is to do the necessary planning. And if you don't have the money to do that, call up your local bar association, call up legal aid, call me, call up individuals who are willing to help you and willing to provide those services. I know many law offices will even provide free or pro bono services for senior citizens. There are so many opportunities available. Just reach out to us and we'll be able to help you with the estate planning process.
Very good. And in your closing statement, describe to us how Dallas County Probate Court number 2 will be improved by your election.
Thank you so much.
I just want to point out before she gets into this, to me, this is one of the most important pieces.
Okay.
When people are electing judges, I mean, it's really hard to elect a judge, right? Like, but the key really, as it turns out, is how efficiently they run their courtroom. It really boils down to that. Like, if they can efficiently do their job, and if they can, then the taxpayer benefits, and if they can't, then we suffer. Okay, here we go.
Now again, and for me, I get it. It's a hard job. It's a lot of people that do it. It's a lot of moving pieces. So I'm not taking that away from Judge Warren at all. I couldn't even imagine. I would never. You got it. I get it. But had 8 years. 8 of them. And at some point you just have to say, you know what, do you need another 8 to show us that you can't? Or do you know what I'm saying? Like, how much more do you need in order to say, you know what, I'm good on this, or no, just give me a little bit more time, I'm almost there. I don't feel like she's almost there. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get that feeling from her in this seat right now. And we've been practicing for years at this point, like at least 5, 6 of her 8.
Yeah.
So
yeah, right.
I don't know.
Okay, all right, so let's hear what Lanasha says, and then we'll get into the very last, and then I want to just go over that judicial survey real quick.
Well, as I stated earlier, I believe that the difference here between myself and my opponent is simply the differences in processes and procedures. And I believe that there needs to be a change with the processes and procedures because the attorneys have said so. Dallas Bar Association Judicial Poll has said that the processes and procedures for this particular court are inefficient and don't overall approve of it. You all can look that up. You can look up what the ratings are for all of the judges. So I won't focus on that particularly. My website is lanashaforjudge.com, which discusses all of my platform. And here are a few of the items that are listed there. I want to increase the court transparency. I would like to have the attorney ad litem list actually posted on the court's website so that individuals can know what attorneys are getting court appointments. I would like to comply with the Texas Government Code with regard to attorney appointments and who would be next on the wheel to get an appointment from the court. In addition, I would like to increase the employee retention. At this point in time, this court has the lowest employee retention of all 3 courts, which is really disappointing considering that Dallas County has a 200% matching rate for employees. I believe the way to improve that is is to make sure that all of the employees are cross-trained, increase their ability to be able to work remotely if they have some family emergencies or health circumstances, and also to ensure that they are able to take their vacation and sick days. I would like to improve community outreach and increase that. Now, the court has, when I was working with the court, there was a probate summer school CLE, and it was very, very productive. And I would like to continue to do that to increase the opportunities from what we just discussed in the community for people to know the importance of estate planning and the importance of getting your documents done while you're able and while you have the mental capacity. Again, my name is Lanasha Howes. I am respectfully requesting your vote for probate court number 2. Please visit my website for more information.
Thank you. Judge Warren, how will the court be improved by your being returned to the bench?
Yes, sir. The court will benefit by returning me to the bench because it will promote consistency.
I have been waiting for days for your reaction. For days, I've been waiting to see that.
It will promote what? Consistently inconsistency? Because that's the only consistency that is going to go on. Oh, no, she didn't. Baby.
She did. She did.
That is pure comedy. That's pure comedy.
Shall we keep going?
Girl, is some more that's foolish? Okay. All right, go ahead. Have fun.
Consistency matters in this position. Consistency matters with the attorneys. Consistency matters with the people that are coming before it in terms of administrative function. We've worked diligently.
Girl, you can't even say that shit with a straight face. I'm sorry, y'all. You can't even say that with a straight face. Oh, baby. No, you could have kept that, sweetheart.
In order to make sure these courts were improved. For years before I got on the bench, the probate courts were.
Hold on, wait a minute. Did she try and blame everybody but herself? Because I don't see no responsibility in there. And that's bothersome to me.
She just went to talking about courts before her.
Didn't she say the attorneys and somebody else? Because
she said the attorneys want consistency.
Oh, yeah. Lanasha, you're up. Because
but we do want consistency. We want the judges to have the same rules for every case. We want them to apply the law consistently across the board. We want them to show up on time consistently. We want them to be prepared consistently. Consistency is something that is really good for this position. It's just not something we have. Right.
Absolutely.
So she's not wrong, but it's ironic.
Of all of the courts. We're in a totally different building. Our building was not, we were in the records building, and I don't know if you all have been by the records building now, but it's been totally remodeled, and we're waiting on our new space, which is going to be in George Allen. And one of the things that I'd like to do as part of that consistency is to continue to work with the administration to improve the courts. The changes that I'm talking about are infrastructure changes, not cosmetic changes. We've talked about things, and we've made some cosmetic changes in order to make things easier and smoother for lawyers. And what I'd like to do going forward is to make sure that the administration and the county administrators have been very responsive with this, understand that what we need is a 4th probate court. We here.
Do you remember?
I agree. We talked about that.
Yeah. A few years ago, some lawyer told me that he thought they were delaying their orders so that they could convince the county to fund a fourth probate court, right?
And
Do you remember? I don't
yeah.
remember who said it to me. It was some rumor that I heard, and I had shared it with you.
Yep. Which ain't a bad, I mean, if it's going to continue like this, and I can, you know what? I will say yes if Paul Thompson, fine. What's the other one?
Jones Johnson?
Jones Johnson, leave them alone, right? The only people that need to be split up is her. Intestate with her and two right down the middle, because and I would just say intestate because obviously Lincoln has muniments and wills, so that's fine, but actual intestate under her, yeah, absolutely you need fourth court.
I definitely think the volume exists for a fourth quarter. But in terms of like a candidate I'm looking to hire, it's not really what I want to hear about. Like
I need help. Because that's what that screams to me is I need help.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't really see Holt Thompson. Obviously, Holt Thompson is fine. Obviously, Johnson is fine. So you're the only one screaming help. And you're the one that's underwater and you're making it look bad. You're making it muddy water. So I don't really want to hear that from her. I don't.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard thing to hear coming from that. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else she says.
Number 2, here's more than 37.5% of all the cases in Dallas County. And that's a lot. We are very busy. We were there every single day during the pandemic, not at home, but in court. And we were there because you all needed us, and that's when you needed us the most.
Actually.
No. The last time I checked,
function just fine from home.
You wasn't letting your staff work from home. You were making them come in. That had nothing to do with us. Y'all were so backed up. All those orders you say you signed, yeah, all of those orders were from 3-4 years ago. So,
and
I'm not.
This was at a time where we didn't know like what COVID was or how anything. You and I went to work from home. My business, nobody was forced to go into my office. There were some people who wanted to. I let them still go, but it was not in my mind, that's not something to brag about, particularly since I know what was going on in the background there.
Right. So that you do not get a pat on the back because you
kept
making in when it was already dysfunctionally functioning in the first place. Now you have going in with COVID, don't even know, like basically you were spreading it amongst yourself and you don't get a pat on the back for that. We know how that went and how you're trying to make it look to the people. That was not okay. It wasn't okay.
Agreed.
And so I'd like to be able to continue those efforts because we are working towards a plan. And this is a plan that's a strategic plan in order to make sure the citizens of Dallas County are served. One other thing I'd like to point out is, we've worked really hard. Those efforts are starting to come to fruition. And with your help, I pray, and with God's support, we will be able to continue to do that going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have candidates for Dallas County Probate Court number 2, the challenger, Ms. Lanessa House. Thank you so much. And Judge, the incumbent, Judge Ingrid Warren. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Okay, so before we conclude, I want to go. This is the cover page. This is the 2019 Dallas Bar Association Judicial Poll. So probate judges are on page 26 and 27, and that is their 26 and 27. So hold on, I gotta see what. Hey, where's their page number? Now, I know that when these came out, Judge Warren was very, very upset about her story.
Oh yeah, she was angry about that.
And that resonated through her whole office, and everyone who worked there suffered.
Yep.
And I will say, I do believe, oh crap, did I get back up to 20? I do believe that there was some improvement between 19 and 21 in these scores, I believe. So
Yeah.
hold on, sorry, I'm trying to find. So folks, if you're interested in these, you can just look up Dallas Bar Association Judicial Poll, and it'll take you to a link, and it has like every judge. Here we go.
Right now? Yeah, there.
Okay, so here we are. Oh wow, actually, sorry, my bad, she got worse. So this is 2019. Does she issue orders without delay? 37%, and by 21 that had gone up to 45%. Ooh, so this actually, I mean, this, so there's this was 33, 33, 33 basically, right? On the overall performance, and all that went up is that it needs improvement. This survey is done by folks who, you know, work in that court.
In that court? Yeah.
All the time. And so, to me, this survey is like.
And and then too, it's like black, white, green, purple. We all jacked. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all jacked. So it's definitely not a race issue. It's definitely not a, gender. It is a Dallas.
Yes, right.
Issue,
Yes.
A problem.
Yes. So much so that, folks used to file into Collin County, and they called that Dallas probate court as like a joke.
But it was definitely real.
And then they had to cut that off.
Because almost everybody was doing it. It was so much easier. And then they had to cut it off. It was like, nah, we can't keep, yeah.
I know Collin County could not bear the weight of Dallas County. And it wasn't fair to Collin County taxpayers what we were doing, but what we have right now is not fair to the Dallas County taxpayers. If we're talking in fairness, so.
We pray, like we file stuff, please don't land into, please don't land into, please don't land into. Like we're children as far as, no, I don't want, like having almost a hissy fit because we don't want to land into.
Well, and that's because we have yet to, we've had one fair trial, I think, and it's come to a point now where this court is just blatantly does things that show that it has no interest in giving a fair trial to anyone who's chosen us to represent them. So that's why, we're here supporting LaNasha, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And again, as somebody who worked in the court, like if I want to say I trust anybody, it'd be someone who worked firsthand, and not just one and two, in that court, but in all of them. So the totality of the situation is, she said, you know what? I have to go for two. One is fine. Three is fine. So I'm not going to oppose either of them. I have to fix two or try to. I'm not even saying that, it's going to happen overnight, but what we have right now cannot continue.
Mm-hmm.
It can't continue.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I agree that really stands out when, when she says, I worked with all three courts and I'm running because this is an administrative issue. And I think we need to administer this court differently. And then you and I are both going, yeah, this court needs to be administered differently. Let's give LaNasha a chance.
Yeah, and obviously the Dallas attorneys or wherever they've come from have made a poll now 2 years in a row, 2019, 2021, saying, yeah, there's some administrative issues going on. And so Dallas attorneys have spoken, and they work for you guys. We work for you guys. You have to believe the proof in the pudding. It's facts. It's bad.
Yep. Okay, so just to remind everyone, the 25th, February 25th, tomorrow, Friday the 25th, is the last day of early voting, and the election itself takes place on Thursday, March 3rd. So if you're unable to get out an early vote tomorrow, make sure you vote on the 3rd.
Make sure you do it. Make sure you do it. I know there are a lot of, I would have to find it and we'll post it later, but a lot of services are offering rides for our senior citizens. And, if you need any help getting there, we need as many votes as possible. Reach out to us and we'll try and find whatever service you need to get you or your family member out to vote.
Yes, we sure will. And we'll post that on our social media. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Jamesha. It's been fun. Your reactions were just as good, if not better, as I thought they would be. So
I can't even believe it. Wow. Yeah.